I look at the thousands of people I've met, the stories I've heard, and I can't. From that data and those experiences, I extrapolate that to work in a Japanese office is a horrible fate to have.
Wow.
Hello and welcome to the Abroad in Japan podcast. Probably the best way of learning about life in Japan without actually being in Japan. I'm your host, Chris Broad. We're joined as always by England's top Japan enthusiast, Mr. Pete Dawson. Pete, how the devil are you doing? What's going on?
I'm good. I am prepping my bags, whatnots, clothes for my trip to Japan next week. Actually, no, it's this week, isn't it? It's recording a little bit earlier there this week. I'm prepping. I've basically got a big suitcase that's going to be empty, and that is going to be coming home with a load of Japanese tats. And I said this to my partner. I said I'm going to be taking a big suitcase that's going to be empty on the way out and full on the way back. And she said, "Please don't. You always buy such shit there."
I dread to think what you are going to buy. More automatons.
It's just more coolish, more. Well, I mean, coolish has been spotted. Have I said this? Somebody's pointed out that it's made its way to Atlanta, so it's slowly lurching across the globe with the Lotte Corporation. I mean, it's within. So what's Atlanta? 9 hours, I think, on a quick plane from Heathrow. Big hub. I mean, I could probably get that in a nice cold bag. Get that to Heathrow and enjoy a coolish on British terra firma. And when that happens, it's going to be beautiful, my friend. It's going to be absolutely fantastic.
It will be good. I can't wait to see you here. I haven't seen you here since 2020 when we went to the Sapporo Slow Festival, and we went fishing for the then second documentary on the tsunami, which was really fun. Brutal morning. That was one of the worst nights' sleep. It's bad when you remember how fucked a night's sleep it was almost 4 years later. The pain of getting up, the pain of having like 2 hours sleep, if that, on this crappy hard wooden bed in Ishinomaki in Miyagi. Oh, it was awful. We won't be doing that this time.
I still owe Ryotaro about 50 quid for a hotel, actually, for that. I would say that getting up in the morning, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, wasn't it? And we'd had 3 hours sleep, 4 hours sleep that night.
Yeah.
And I think getting up to sort of do something like that is I can do that. You know, it's bracing. You've got a job to do. I didn't. I was just rolling around, but you had a job to do. You had to break your drone. We basically followed some fishermen out there. Do they count as fishermen? They're probably just farmers, I suppose, aren't they? Because they were basically going out to their ropes where they were growing seaweed.
True, yeah.
And they'd pull these ropes up and chop all this delicious seaweed off. I'm not a big seaweed guy, so for me, if we were going out to collect, I don't know, oysters, but I can hoover up 20 oysters in a sitting very easily. They're just a way of getting vinegar and onions and Tabasco in my mouth. But I think getting up in the morning to harvest seaweed isn't necessarily. I'm not that into seaweed to sort of go, seaweed, we're getting all of the seaweed. But fair play to those Ishinomaki fishermen who get up every morning for that, and they do it every day, and they're just trying to revitalise a really interesting, amazing part of Japan that was obviously ravaged by the tsunami. But I mean, I think we spoke about it before, but coming back into the bay and seeing one of the fishermen's floats in one of the trees that had been up there since 2011, was it? Yeah. One of the floats that was like, I mean, so it just showed how high the sea level had got, that one of these ship floats had sort of ended up in the top of a tree. And they sort of basically left it there to sort of go, that's how fucking high the water got. And it is stark reminder of what took place on that day.
And that'd been 9 years at that point, That's crazy. I haven't been up there in a while, actually. I need to swing by. People said, like, oh, you do another tsunami documentary. It's like, no, the time has passed. It's been 10 years. And I find people in Japan don't like, bringing up that stuff over and over again. People want to move on. So, and we think we did a good story there. But the documentary Pete's talking about, where we went out on the boat, it's called, like, Japan's $200 billion disaster. And I don't know if I don't think you can see you in it anywhere, Pete, but there's a shot where we're on like a little boat and they're hauling in the seaweed, and Pete Dawson's just standing over my shoulder going doing Pete Dawson things.
I'm eating the seaweed
sandwich or something,
yum, like a little giraffe. It's
was
disgusting. Throw it back.
Well, what I want to hear in this episode in a bit is some of the suggestions people have had for what we're going to do, because we have got Pete and I have basically set aside 3 days to do something, go somewhere, drive somewhere, travel somewhere, whatever, and it's looking like the great Natsuki will also be joining us for those 3 days.
Yes,
your very own Natsuki. Just for you.
We're gonna FS up, baby.
Get all that seaweed.
Yeah, I mean, there's loads of people getting involved on the YouTube. Excuse me, I'm just gonna mute my microphone.
God, that's what's going on there. Oh, he's just sneezing.
I'm going to bring some very exotic diseases to Japan for the trip.
Can't wait.
But yeah, loads of people who got in touch on the YouTube basically suggesting loads of stuff. The Takayama Showa Museum, which I presume is near the Takayama Shrine.
Love it, done it though. Done it too much.
The Toyota factory tour, if you're going to Nagoya, I almost guarantee that if it's Chris Broad project, we're not going to Nagoya. The Osaka Sewerage Science Museum, which is interesting.
Oh my God, what is this? Where's the good stuff? Where's the Wagyu beef?
Here we go. Tsushima.
Tsushima too
suggested.
far.
Yeah,
Nothing there.
Too far. Fukui Station and the Dino Museum.
Possibly. Actually, I'm looking at Fukui because I've not really been there much. And it's quite easy to get there now thanks to the bullet train, which goes there as of several months ago. So that direction could be cool. I do want to go somewhere I don't really know that well.
Yeah.
And I've only been through Fukui one time for the original Journey Across Japan, and it started in front of the... Because it's like famous for having dinosaur bones and excavating dinosaurs.
Of course,
they've got
yes.
like 6 or 7 massive, very impressive animatronic dinosaurs at the front of the station, and that would be kind of cool to revisit.
Okay, and talk to me about the Ekizen Crab Museum, a dome-shaped spot with snow crab-related exhibits, including aquariums, plus a seafood market and cafe. We could eat some delicious... It's a bit weird to celebrate the life and times of a snow crab and then have a restaurant where you all you eat is snow crab. It's a bit rough, isn't it?
Maybe not.
No. K camping, Mount Mitake, Yokosuka, Mitsumine Shrine, Shimari Prefecture, visit every disc union, which I think is some kind of music shop. Loads of different. There's Harmony Land, a Hello Kitty theme park. Thank you to everyone who got in touch on the YouTube to try and figure out the sake vending machine in Nagata.
Done it
obviously,
too much.
Yeah, we've done it too much. Arita Pottery, the Karatsu Castle. There's a fall cherry blossom festival. No one seems to talk about the falling of blossom in Japan. Obviously, we all talk about the Sakura festivals. Well, I mean, the blossom grows and everyone gets very excited and sort of go, "Oh, great, spring is here." But nobody ever talks about the falling, the losing of the blossom.
But that happens in April, does it not? That happens at the same time when the blossom...
I thought it stuck around.
Kind of falls off, doesn't it? The cherry blossom falls off the tree.
Oh, yeah, because it does, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, good point, actually. Just shut up, whoever did that. The Yamazaki Distillery, Akigahara Forest. We could improve on certain other famous YouTubers that find work in there. Hunting for the ghost wolf. Take Pete to see some gibbons. Now, Chris, where
gibbons.
are the Japanese gibbons? They are my favourite animal. They walk on 2 legs. They hoot and holler like car alarms, and they inflate their throats. Now, if you are looking for, I think they're not even called lesser apes anymore. I think they're just called apes.
Lesser apes.
I think they've joined the ranks of the great apes. But if you're looking for a great ape, they are truly a great ape.
I mean, there's the snow monkeys. Would that satiate your thirst for monkeys?
I mean... Oh, they're macaques. Are they Japanese macaques? I think. But yeah, with their little red faces. I mean, that's on the way to. That would be on the way to that Kyoto area.
You will take a few hundred miles through a mountain range.
Yeah,
but,
I'll help with the driving.
No, you
help with the
won't.
train.
No, you won't. I'm not trusting you at the wheel. My God. But I'm looking at Fukui. I think that could be the winning direction. That could be the way. Maybe.
Yeah.
Sounds
good.
We'll see what Natsuki says. But I like the idea of going on a pilgrimage somewhere to find like the ghost wolf, the legendary ghost wolf of Mount Fuji, and then get eaten by it the moment we find it. That'll be a banger moment.
I think we should get. There's a real vogue for real film cameras. I think we should go to Nakano Broadway and buy some crappy old 1980s film cameras, get some film in there, and try and take some
You
pictures.
did that last time, mate, and it took like 8 months to develop the fucking film in Germany.
That was Super 8. I filmed some stuff in Super 8. I think that the last time I was in Japan with you, I filmed with a little Super 8 camera. And yes, it is incredibly expensive. I mean, to be fair, tried to get that process during COVID was difficult because high on priorities was NHS. The people who process Super 8 film in Germany probably quite low down the whole kind of stimulus package need, I would say. If you're running a film canister company, I would say that you're probably not getting the financial breaks from the government compared to other necessary workers.
Yeah, it's a bit, I don't know. But I never did see the footage though. I never did see it, I don't think. So it's a shame. I want to see that.
I've got it up. I'll put it somewhere.
Right,
I'll put it in the description of this video on the YouTube.
Bring it along. We'll do it again. We've got a story this week from Barney and Ellie from Newcastle, Pete's neck of the woods. Hello, Chris and Pete. My wife and I recently returned from our 4-week honeymoon in Japan. It was amazing, though admittedly, we underestimated just how uncomfortable the end of August would be, weather-wise. Regardless, we have no regrets after a trip of a lifetime. During our trip, we saw something that, coming from the UK, was particularly surprising. During one of our many Shinkansen trips, we were passed by what appeared to be a prisoner transfer, just travelling on public transport. There were 4 prisoners handcuffed together in a line with 2 guards accompanying them. We had seen them on the platform, but then they had showed up on our train, being escorted through the green car. It caused quite a stir on the carriage, causing a number of locals to turn and look on in surprise. One of the rare occasions I'd seen a reaction like that in public. Being accustomed to the UK's prisoner transfer vans with their white anonymous design and tiny windows, I was surprised to see Japan transferring prisoners with the general public. Have you seen this before, or were we just lucky? All the best, Barney and Ellie. And was one of them a 65-year-old white American who would scratch his name into a shrine, Meiji Shrine? Yeah. This is rare. I have never seen this, actually.
No.
It's a rare sighting, like that of the Japanese legendary ghost wolf or the yellow spotted fucking wood sparrow. It's a rare treat to see such a thing. Prisoners being dragged down the green car. Yeah. I'm surprised they did that though. The luxurious green car, people sipping their sake, having their bentos, and then some miscreants being led down the aisle. That's quite good. I like that. But yeah, apparently it's a common thing though. Public transport.
That's crazy, isn't it? I just feel like they can't be like high security ones, can they? And I realise that Shinkansen is like a quick thing, but you think they would have like they do them all at once. Do you know what I mean? Like they'd just get like a whole carriage sort of blocked out for that sort of behaviour, or maybe they'd be in the cargo area or something. Is there a cargo area?
There's not a cargo area.
I've never seen a cargo area on the train. You'd think that there would be a place to put like bicycles and packages and stuff, but
just make them stand in the large disabled toilet on the train.
Yeah,
just put them all in there.
The fag area, the fag area where you just have a cigarette. Yeah. Just brace the little folding door. Incredible.
You've got to get done for using that word. You have to remind people that outside of the UK.
I think I put too much meat into it, but I would usually use the Northeast vernacular tab for talking about cigarettes. But I went with fag. But it's not it's the word we've always used, the Brits.
Cigarettes, isn't it? Cigarettes, a different culture. We've got a story this week, a sad story, but a necessary story perhaps. Ginzan, one of the nicest hot spring towns in all of Japan. We went there famously on the last episode of Journey Across Japan Non-Stop North. It's a very kind of Hayao Miyazaki evocative looking place, very spirited away, beautiful wooden inns going down a river. When it's covered in snow, it looks magical, as it was when I went there with American Pete, who was unfortunately and rather tragically chained to me throughout the entire experience. They are now going to limit the number of people that can visit, unfortunately, which is a problem because I was going to recommend it in an upcoming video, and now I'm like, do I want to do it if people can't get in there? Anyway, tell us what's going on, Pete. Why is this necessary? Why is it happening? And when does it kick in? You know,
surely it makes it more exclusive if you're recommending something that people can't get to. It's like the Lost Bar. You know, there's queues around the block for it. Yeah, I mean, like this, the stunning Miyazaki-esque onsen, the Ginza onsen. I mean, just stunning in the winter time when you sort of see it at night time with a bit of snow on the ground. Absolutely stunning. But yes, located in the mountains of Yamagata Prefecture, is one of Japan's most beautiful neighborhoods. It's incredibly breathtaking in the winter months when everything is blanketed in snow. But it's punchy and it's pricey, and but it's worth a visit. But they have started, the Ginza Hot Spring Association has announced that it will be instituting a limit on the number of daytime day trip visitors allowed into the neighbourhood. And the system doesn't allow for any at all after a certain time. Presumably, and indeed, definitely, people are just arriving for day trips. They're not actually using the facilities. They're not staying over. They're just coming in, taking their pictures, and then leaving. Non-overnight sightseeing crowds are rocking up and just taking pictures. In the middle of like peak tourism times, there have been instances of like people just arguing, jockeying for position to take photographs and stuff. Pedestrians getting up close and personal with the traffic, and just trouble on the roads generally. And it's making it quite difficult for example, to get ambulances in and out. Under the new system, day trip visitors are asked to take a paid shuttle bus to Ginza Onsen from the Taisho Romankan Visitor Centre, located further down the mountain from the hot spring area. There will be no limit on the number of permissible day trippers between 9 and 4, but in the evening, from 5 till 8, a maximum of 100 day trippers per hour will be allowed to enter the Ginza Onsen. And they'll be required to have tickets for the privilege. It'll be like $7 per person, the shuttle bus, but it will give you access to the site. It seems like still a lot of people. There's still 100 people being allowed in every hour. I mean, but after 8 p.m, only business-related vehicles will be allowed in or out of Ginza Onsen, meaning between 8 at night and 9 the next morning. It's basically closed unless you're actually staying in some of the hotels. It's going to be kicking in on December the 23rd, so if you are heading to Japan in the next month, you should be okay. But after that time, they're going to be experimenting with limiting people accessing the site.
It's the place where American Pete proposed to his wife, right? So that's no wonder it's popular. People want to go pay pilgrimage to the
pay respect,
momentous
see
event.
The blue plaque.
Yeah.
Oh, here a woman's life got worse.
Pete would be the first to admit it, bless him. But I remember actually when we left Ginza, we had an altercation with a bus of Chinese tourists. There was a group of Chinese tourists, there's usually come in big groups, right? Sort of 30, 40 people. And there's only like one bus that could get you in and out of Ginza. And we'd been queuing for a long time. And just we're about to get on when it arrived. Like a group of 30 tourists just turned up. All Chinese, and the person overseeing the tour just blocked Pete from getting on the bus. And I've never seen him so angry, and rightly so. We're very cold. It was very rude and annoying. But yeah, this is the problem, right? It's the group tours. The group tours are overwhelming these places. We're not talking like a few people turn up. We're talking like a lot of buses rocking up, a ton of people getting off, and they're not being respectful. And yeah, I think I'm mixed. I mean, it's still going to be open during the day, and there's no rules, right? Between 9 and 4, no limit on the number of permissible day trippers. And I think one smart thing was in the evening, it's ticketed from 5 p.m. That's when all the shops are shut, though. So I guess the idea is it won't impact many shops and souvenir shops and cafes that line the streets, because they'll already be closed by that point anyway, so they don't mind.
Yeah.
So it should have a minimal impact on the economics of the town. But I think it is necessary, because this place is only getting worse and worse, probably because people like me make a video there. Yeah, it's a shame, but necessary. I mean, I would recommend staying there if you can. Stay in Ginza, beautiful place. There aren't that many inns. You will have to book at least 3 months in advance. I tried to book a room there on Journey Across Japan. Every single room was gone. Well beyond, long since gone. So try and book 3 months in advance minimum if you want to stay in Ginza. Yeah. And there are some really nice places. I've only stayed there one time, and the food at the inn I stayed in was incredible, but the bath was too hot to enjoy. It was weird. Charlotte and I were really looking forward to it. You get this thing called Kashkiri onsen, private onsen, right? A lot of onsens, if you don't have a bath in your room, or you don't want to use a public bath, if you want to go as a couple, they have a Kashkiri, private bath. and you get it for like 30 to 40 minutes in a slot. You have to put your name down and whatnot. And we had it from something like 10 p.m. to 10:30, and we went in, and it looked amazing. It was on this rooftop. There was snow. There was steam coming up from the bath. It was magical. And I put my foot in the bath, and I screamed down the whole fucking building. I was like, "Rah!" It was insanity. I might as well have just been fucking Mount Aso pool of lava, because it was physically painful. And it was a big bath, like it could fit like 10 people in, but it was like one little hose pipe of cold water. And I put it in, and after 25 minutes, it was still the exact same molten hot temperature. So we couldn't get in. That was really disappointing. And that was my last stay at Ginzan Onsen. So, yeah, don't know if I could advise to stay there.
As a person who has the hottest showers known to humanity, I reckon I could probably sit in an Icelandic geyser if I needed to. I would love to test my mettle against the hottest and coldest ice baths in this onsen. But maybe we could visit an onsen briefly. That always helps the old jet lag when we're out and about. I would say that us going to Fukui, by the way, not that far away from that big squid statue. I'm just saying, Chris. It's not that far away.
Yes, it is. It's far from Fukui. It's. I was looking at it earlier, actually. Your beloved $200,000 squid is a 4-hour drive from Fukui.
From Fukui? My God.
It's a really remote peninsula.
All right, fine.
No squid for you, I think.
Oh, never mind.
You could eat some squid, though. Is that better than the statue?
Eat some squid.
Yeah. There you go. Happy boy.
I can see why they spend so much money on it, because you're right, it is out of the way. 4 hours, bloody hell.
I know,
Get some better roads in Japan, for crying out loud. It looks tiny on the map.
Exactly. We'll be back in just a moment, guys. Your stories, comments and questions over in the fax machine.
Wow.
And we're back with the fax machine. What have we got this week from our listener, Mr. Dawson? Listeners,
not one listener. You've been looking at the figures. You've been looking at the listener figures. Hi, Cauliflower Chris and Parsnip Pete. I intend on living and working in Japan for a year at some point in the near future. I've got a decent grasp of the language, and as a trained professional, finding a job in my field shouldn't be too difficult. Jessica from Brighton, this is, who is a samurai. However, being used to UK office culture where attitudes are casual, banter is plentiful, and people's idiosyncrasies are generally accepted, I'm concerned that working in Japan will feel a little bit soul-destroying. I'm aware of the ultra-formal stereotypes around the Japanese workplace, and I understand a lot of this will depend on the office in question, but I wanted your experience. Are the stereotypes true, or is reality just a little bit more normal? Chris, are the stereotypes true? Is it a banter-free place? It's going to be difficult, I suppose, isn't it, for Jessica to translate everything?
I mean, what's the question here? I'm trying to understand. I'm aware of the ultra-formal stereotypes around the Japanese workplace. It'll just be rubbish. Unless you work in it'll just be brutal. You'll have to get drunk till 7 p.m. every night and listen to your boss and just go on about shit. Just don't do it. Unless it's for a foreign-run company. Honestly, I just have too many horror stories from friends who've worked in Japanese office. If you're working for a foreign company based in Tokyo or Japan in general, you're fine. You don't have this problem at all. All good to go. Japanese workplace, though, get ready for not having fun. It's as simple as that. I have to make these bold, stupid comments because I take 10 years of experience. I look at the thousands of people I've met, the stories I've heard, and I can't. From that data and those experiences, I extrapolate that to work in a Japanese office is a horrible fate to have. It might be cool. I think if you're a guy, it's a lot easier as well. I know that. I know you will have a smoother ride if you're a guy in a Japanese workplace. Whereas if you're a girl, you will be expected to sort of pour drinks, and at the dinner parties and the work parties, you'll be, pouring the drinks for the guys just the way it is. And if you don't, you'll be sort of frowned down upon. It will be soul destroying. It won't be good. And I don't want to sugarcoat it. It won't be good. It will just not be good. And I'm sure there's a few people listening here that have had a good experience working in a Japanese office. I was lucky I worked at a school. It wasn't an office. It wasn't that sort of corporate culture or environment that I had to deal with. But yeah, but I know a lot of people that left, say, the JET program or teaching, went into the Japanese world of work, and it stopped being fun very quickly. So, yeah, the stereotype is true from my experience. Some stereotypes are true, and yeah. But if you work for again, come here, work for a British, American, any foreign company here, and you get the thrills of working in Japan and the great stuff. You get to put your Japanese to use, but you also have companies that don't have the sort of more ruthless aspects of Japanese work practices. I find so. Yeah, like I met a guy the other day at Lost Bar, actually, a really nice guy. I think he was from, I'm going to say Holland and the Netherlands, and he worked in windmills, wind turbines, and he was working up and down the west coast of Japan. He loved it. In his office in Tokyo, they all had fun. Get to travel around Japan, make a wind turbine. It was really cool. That was good. And so there's lots of good jobs here, and certainly knowing Japanese will open the doors for you to work in those companies. But to work in a pure Japanese company, don't do it, please. Anyway,
please
Jay,
don't do it.
I could sit here and reel off horror stories all day. Maybe I will. Maybe the next podcast. But I just, I think a lot of people come to Japan with this dream. It's going to be magical. It's going to be, the best thing. And it is when you're not at work. When you're walking down the street, you're going out to izakayas, you're going down the pub, good stuff. But then you go to work, and the fun and the laughter end very quickly.
I think having like a strong friendship base as well, if you can establish that would presumably help you out a lot in your working life. But you are leaning on them a hell of a lot more than you would normally, I suppose.
There's that as well. But, I worked in an office in the UK, and it was the most depressing shit job ever. I look back at it. I still have nightmares about it. I shit you not. I have nightmares about my job.
Yeah.
And the people I work with are amazing. The people I work with in that office job were so much fun. We used to joke and laugh and sit at our desks and forget about the work we were doing there every day. And that made it worthwhile. And I feel like in Japan, there isn't that. I don't think you can sit at your desk and joke about and dick about all day as we did in that job. Yeah. I think it would be a bit more ruthless. And there's a lot more hierarchy and there's a lot more order to the structure there. But, God, it's weird, isn't it? I still have nightmares about working on Excel spreadsheets all day. Fucking awful. Jay says, hello, Chris and Pete. My wife and I are going to Tokyo for a week later this month. The last time I spent any time in Tokyo was as an elementary school kid back in the 1990s. My wife expects me to be some sort of Japan wizard since I lived there for a few years, despite my insistence that a lot can change in 30 years. I know Japan tends to be conservative and Tokyo is a bit of a retro-futuristic time capsule, but boots on the ground, how different do you think Tokyo has become since your first days there? All the best, Jay. Tokyo is a lot more accessible now, a lot more gentrified in good ways and bad. Shibuya looks so different. It's incredible how different it is. And you will probably... you came here last year, though, didn't you, Pete? I was going to say it would be quite interesting. Even those 4 years that you last... 2020 that I last saw you here to now, Shibuya is so different.
Yeah.
Some good bars though. Some good bars are popping up. I'll say that.
Some good bars are popping up. I'm hearing some good cocktail bars are popping up.
Yeah.
But it would be nice. I didn't spend a lot of time sort of looking at my old haunts because my partner has different interests than Beery Donaldson. But it'd be nice to sort of just go around and sort of see all of the places that I sort of went to. Sarah wasn't as interested in Tokyo Hands as I was, so
she used to get her priorities sorted out. Everyone loves.
I know.
Tokyo Hands.
I'm just in the basement. I'm going. Look how many polystyrene heads you can buy, and with clip-on ears for any of your polystyrene head needs. It's an amazing shop. There's Pocari Sweat for dogs.
It's true. We should go there when you come here.
Yeah.
Tokyo has changed a lot, and I think. Mostly for the best, perhaps. Something is lost when things are gentrified, but also there are gains. And Shinjuku, Shibuya, they're a lot less seedy. Certainly Shinjuku, Kabukicho, it's still a bit seedy, but it's a lot it's been cleaned up. It looks a lot more modern now.
For every gas panic you lose on basketball streets, you gain a lost bar. That's the gentrification of Shibuya.
How dare you? But, it's still a bloody awesome place to explore. And, Yeah, it's way more accessible now and easier to get around than ever before. Got one last question from Raj. He says, hello, Chris and Pete. I'm a college student from India. Recently got a job in Japan. It's my very first job after I spent 10 minutes ranting about not getting a job here. For the Naiteshiki, the orientation, I'll be visiting Osaka for a week next October. What are the best things to experience after a typical working day? Since I won't be a tourist, I won't be able to visit places that might usually take up a whole day. Keep up the great work. Hope you guys are doing well. Raj. There will be no work. There will only be work, Raj, judging by my previous rant. There will be no fun. You will work and you'll work more. I mean, what I used to do...
Takoyaki.
I'll just go down the... I'd go down the Izakaya pub 3 days a week. I would eat so much awful but deliciously good chicken and pizza, and my cholesterol went up so fast. I'd smoke, I'd drink, I'd eat. It was magical, and I wouldn't change anything for the world, despite it ruining my health. It was fucking amazing. Do that. Find a good izakaya, or at least two, so when one's shut, you go to the other one, and just go there, and drink, and smoke, and just have fun with it.
Play darts. Play some darts.
Yeah, it's good times. It's good stuff. Keep stories, questions, comments coming in to broadjapanpodcast@gmail.com or right away in the YouTube comments below. But for now, guys, have yourself a great few days. The time is almost upon us when Pete Dawson is here, unfortunately, and or thrillingly. Brace yourselves. And we'll see you later in the week for one last podcast before the man, the myth, the legend is sitting, presumably, somewhere at this bar counter with me. Fucking hell. Who'd have thought it?
Make room. Crying out loud. Make room.
Get the coolish on ice. Ready.
Get the coolish on ice for crying out loud, yeah.
Until then, see you guys later. Have a good one.
Ta-ta.